Welcome to the March edition of the Nude Wine Club. This month we have three really cool wines from Italy. A beautiful white wine from Piedmont, from the region of Gavi. The grape is Cortese. Then we have what would be my favourite wine of the box this month. It's an orange wine from southern Italy, from Campania. So if you think of Italy like a leg, you're kind of getting to the knee area. And then you have this lovely, one of our trusty reds from Sicily, the Nero d'Avola. Nero d'Avola is Sicily's most widely planted red grape. So we'll go through all three, but I'll talk about the orange wine first, the middle wine, because I suppose there's a lot more to it. Probably one of those categories, orange wine, there's no, like with organic, there's a certification and you have to tick certain boxes, or biodynamic or vegan. Orange wine, there's a really wide spectrum of what you would expect to taste like and how it can be made. So this particular one, it's two local grapes from southern Italy. Falanghina, which is typically from around the Rome region, so halfway down Italy, and the second grape is Fiano, and it's from much further south, kind of where the high heel is on the part of the leg. So an orange wine is basically a white wine but made like red wine, which sounds mad. So if you get a bunch of red grapes and a bunch of white grapes and you cut them open, you'll see that the flesh and the pulp is translucent in both the red grapes and the white grapes. So typically if you're going to make a Sauvignon Blanc or a Pinot Grigio, a white wine, you crush the grapes, you get rid of the skins, and you make the wine just out of the clear flesh and the pulp. If you're going to make a red wine, you crush the grapes, you release all the clear coloured juice, but you keep the skins and you allow them to spend time to macerate, to draw down colour, to give the red wine colour. Grapes like Cabernet have a really thick skin. If you give them a lot of time with the skins, you get a really dark coloured wine. Grapes like Pinot Noir have a very thin skin. So no matter how much time the skins and the juice spend together, you can't get a very dark wine because the skin is so thin on it. A rosé wine is typically made from red grapes. They crush the grapes, release the clear coloured pulp, and allow the skins to spend a day or a half a day to draw down a little bit of colour so you get a light pink colour. With an orange wine, it's made from white grapes. So really unusual. So you crush the grapes and you have the clear flesh and pulp, and only some grapes can do it, and it's normally ones with slightly thicker skin or a slightly darker coloured skin, darker green coloured skin, and you allow those skins to spend time, so the green grapes to spend time with the flesh and the pulp. So you get what's called an orange wine or a skin contact wine. So it tends to be a little bit darker. Now it can vary from shades of dark yellow, kind of like an apple juice colour, right through to actually being orange. It's a really interesting style of wine. It's really ancient. It's how wine would have been made thousands of years ago, particularly in northern Italy and into Sardinia. And now it's kind of cool and trendy, and you find some cool winemakers do it. So an orange wine specifically is about how the grape skins spend contact with the juice. That's it. It's nothing to do with filtered. It can be applied as well, or low sulfur or anything like that. Sometimes these winemakers go all out and they tick every kind of quirky box. But generally, skin contact is literally the grape skins and the juice from white grape skins. So this one, I really love it. It's unfortunately I don't have a bottle open. This is the last bottle in the shop at the minute. It's kind of dark yellow verging towards orange. The flavours are really interesting, and they're very quintessential orange wine flavours, where they're kind of chamomile tea, ginger, slightly herbaceous, a little bit herbal. For me, it's a wine that's lovely with cheese, lovely with salmon, lovely with those kind of Asian flavours like soy. It complements them really well because ultimately orange wine has got that umami flavour about it. It's really gorgeous. It's really exciting. A very good value for money. This is €20 as a bottle. Typically orange wines, they go right up. So finding an orange wine for €20 is quite unusual. And I really love it. I definitely recommend having it with a little bit of food, just to give you that extra experience of 1 + 1 = 3, that they taste better together. If you like, for me, salmon is a great one, that kind of meatier, more flavorful fish, or a little bit of cheese or some Asian food, or if you're into maybe even some sushi, it would be very nice with it as a nice little treat. So the white wine that we have is Gavi. So this is from northern Italy. So you're going right up to the top of the leg, I suppose, right onto the big bum muscle, if you're looking at Italy like a leg. From Piedmont, Gavi is the place. if you want to call your white wine Gavi, the grape has to be 100% Cortese, grown in the Gavi region. And Gavi would have been, over the years, particularly popular, and then it kind of lost out in popularity. And I think because wines like New Zealand Sauvignon became I suppose, ubiquitous in the market, but Gavi was always considered a good alternative to Sancerre or Chablis because it was classic, citrusy, and no oak. So it's a nice one to revisit. If you've never had a Gavi, it's a really lovely style. This is organic, biodynamic, and it's actually quite low in alcohol. It's 12%, 12.5%. So it's a good school night wine as well. If you're thinking you wanted to have a glass and you don't want to have, the extra couple of percent and a hangover. It's a really nice white wine to try. And Italy, generally most of the white wines, certainly from the knee and up, so Gavi, Soave and Verdicchio, they're very high quality white wines made without any oak, to be drunk with Sunday lunch. They're kind of fancy, so they're definitely for a slightly more special occasion. This is definitely in the fancier section. It's $22.50 a bottle. And then we have a lovely cheeky little red Nero d'Avola from Sicily, one of Sicily's most popular grape, most widely planted, and it's a bit of a workhorse. It can do anything from the everyday style, which is what this one is, right up to something a little bit more fancy in terms of how the wine is made and time in oak. It's typically compared to a Shiraz from Australia in terms of the flavour profile. So you're thinking plums, that kind of darker red fruit flavour, plums and raspberries with a little bit of spice. Very easy to drink, definitely a wine to have with a bit of pizza, whereas these wines, I'd probably dress them up with your food pairing if you're having them with food. This is really fun, easy to drink, spag bol, pizza, or whatever you fancy. But 3 cool wines from Italy this month.